All right, good morning, everyone. Apparently we're live, so hello, welcome back. You'll be happy to know we are not doing this in character and possibly never again, but we have a poll about that where we actually asked the community and got some fascinating answers. Can't say I was particularly happy with those fascinating answers, but well, I appreciate the support. This is episode 260, being recorded on 11th of May US time. Our guests today are Dekyon and Dread. First time on the show. You've all heard about him many times over the past few months and years for his participation in our Utini events, because he organised it. So, disclaimer, this is the raw version of the show. If you watch this later on YouTube, it has not been edited, because I don't edit video. I just edit audio, which is what we publish as a podcast. So we may flub and and ah and all that crap. So anyway. So without further ado, Chill will kick us off when he's ready.
All right. Going in 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast, the podcast that matches no charted system on record. This is episode 260, being recorded on Wednesday, May 11th, 2016. I'm your host, Chill, with our producer and co-host, Tio. Hi, Tio.
Hey, guys.
And our guests today are Dekyon, and for the first time, although he's done everything else related to the show, Dread. Hey, Dread, how you doing?
Hi. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So sort of give us a little introduction to yourself, since this is your first official guesting on the show.
Sure. I've been a player since beta. I stopped, the guild I was in, stopped playing about 6 months in. So I left the game for about 6 months, roughly. Went on to Guild Wars 2. At that time it dropped, and then I came back in for Rise of the Hot Cartel, and been with Utini since. Yeah, that's when I joined Utini.
All right. So when you rejoined the game, you were like looking for podcasts or whatever?
I was, but I actually listened to UtiniCast from inception.
Oh, cool.
I'm one of those podcast people. I listen to podcasts every day, like probably about 10 hours a day of podcasts.
Wow.
I do enjoy it. Yeah.
Awesome. And what do you do in the game? What do you like to do?
Right now it's basically just talking to people, having fun in game, playing around with a lot of the different achievements that there are in game that I haven't gotten yet. So that's one of my main goals that I have, is to get as many achievements as I can. So.
Right, and you've been helping to organize a lot of the Utini Guild events.
Yeah, I mean, the thought process behind that was to get more people involved in the guild. We were seeing a lot of people dropping off from the guild because of reasons, and you know, it was a little disheartening to see so many people drop off. So we decided to bring more activities to the guild, so people felt more wanted and would have been fun to be around. So I decided to do these events in February and March, and I thought they did the job.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, we got a lot of people participating, and we had a lot of people from outside of the guild as well participating. So, you know, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed putting those together.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we appreciate it. And what have you been doing in the game recently?
Well, recently I've just been playing through Chapter 14. I really enjoyed it. It was... I'm just like you, Chill. I'm a heist person. I really do enjoy heist movies, so it was right up my alley. Then I did a lot of the Eternal Championship on basically 6 of my classes, because I only got 4 through Kotfi at the time, and I actually had to do 2 on the weekend to get the final 2 classes that I needed. I have 2 more to do, which are the Agent and Smuggler. Nice. So I'm not sure how those are going to go in EC. I think it's going to be hard, but I'm not sure.
And how far through the championship did you get?
I got through all of it on 6 classes, just minus.
Oh, all of it on 6 classes. Nice.
Yeah, yeah. So I like I said, I'm one of those achievement people who just I need to get those achievements, and they are achievements for getting them on each class. So that's what I'm doing.
Very good.
Yeah. I also wanted to talk about this program that I came across on a stream that I was watching. She's a German streamer called Smarty, and she was doing EC, so which attracted me to the whole. She was doing a sprint champion achievement,
Right.
which is do it in 15 minutes.
Hmm.
So what she was using a program called WSplit. If you Google it, you could find it. I'll also send to you a link. What it does is basically it's an overlay that has a timer on it. So you could set it up manually, and every time a boss is down, you press a hotkey and it ends the timer. But the overall timer continues, so you'll pretty much get a basic idea of where you are on each fight. So
Right.
it kind of helps you get an idea of where you are and what you're doing wrong, because you could use it now and try and better those times every time. So
That's
I just
cool.
want to shout out Smarty for that, because I thought it was a very interesting thing. I wish it was in game, so I mean it is an achievement, and there is no way to tell the time when you're doing it, when you're running the EC. So it is something that I thought should have been in the game.
Yeah. If they're going to do this speed run, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's about it. Also we are running GSF nights on Sunday nights in the guild with JP. So just wanted to shout him out for that, coming up with that initiative. There are a lot of GSF players still out there, and we see. I mean, I've only gotten into GSF in the last 3 or 4 months, and it pops a lot on Harbinger. I mean,
Oh, excellent.
At 5-minute pops at least. You will get a pop. So there is still a lot to do in the game.
That's awesome. And I see a note you have that you're trying to get folks together for the Star Wars celebration in April.
Right. So I did see this announced earlier this week that celebration is going to be in Orlando in April next year. So I was thinking maybe we could all get together. Some of us who, well, I don't live in the States. I'm from the Caribbean. But Orlando is pretty close to me. It's literally like 3 or 4 hours away from me. So it's not a bad flight for me. So I was thinking that maybe we could get people together and do that. So I've floated it out to the group, and we'll see what happens. It's still a long way.
Yeah, that it is. It's school year, so I'll have to look and see when my son's spring break is. It might be
Right.
around that time, but because certainly if I go, I will have to bring him along. So
Right. The only problem is that tickets go on sale on May 25th. So it's kind of like
yeah, you have to plan it way ahead.
yeah.
That
So-
still
but
sounds like fun, though.
I thought it would be fun for people to come out and meet each other and go and see some Star Wars stuff.
Yeah. That's a good idea. I'd love to. I'll see if I can do that. I will have to look at the my son's schedule and so on. But if we can make it work out, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be great.
All right. And Dekyon, what you been up to?
I have been doing a lot of Xeno this week. Ran Xeno, I would say 6 times on every level 65 tune that I have. On Saturday, I actually got the Red Sphere mount drop, and I wasn't Legend status, so I wasn't able to actually bind it. But a few more times, and with help from Ivalon on Monday night, I was able to finally get enough rep to be able to reach the legendary rank. So I've been floating around the fleet in that for the last couple of days.
Cool. Hey, Dekyon, you sound a little quiet. Is there a way for you to boost your mic or something?
Yep.
Just noted the time because I'm going to have to boost his audio separately during post production. But anyway,
Okay.
Hopefully,
a little bit.
try again. A little better.
Is that better?
A little better. Yeah.
I can keep going. All right. How's that? Is that better?
Just barely.
Okay, that's about as high as it can go.
Okay, it actually sounds normal. So,
Okay, perfect.
are you okay with that, Tio?
Oh, I'll live. Yeah, go on, keep going.
Our Friday night raiding group has been doing raids every Friday night for probably the last 6 weeks, I guess. We've been running with the same guys. We've been doing them in order. And Friday night we tackled the Ravagers, which was very interesting. We ended up wiping on Master Blaster 7 times before we decided just to kind of call it quits and regroup on Saturday. After
Is that that is story mode, isn't it?
It is. This is definitely story mode.
Okay.
On Saturday, we regrouped and were able to finally beat Master Blaster and finished the op. So next Friday, this coming Friday, we are off to Temple of Sacrifice.
Nice.
And then once we do that, we're going to do a few filler story mode to make sure that everyone gets the 216 gear. And then we're going to start it all over again in hard mode.
Sweet.
Ran the Eternal Championship, was able to get up to the 5th battle. I beat the 5th one. The 6th one I could not get past. So if anyone has any tips, those are very welcome.
There are some excellent videos from Volk, which may be worth watching on that.
Okay.
All right, excellent. Tio, how about your week?
Pretty much nothing in game because real life, and well, we had Mother's Day here in Australia on Sunday, and so family stuff. And then I've been, as I mentioned last week, involved in some interplanetary travel where I travelled interstate for work. So I've been away all week, only got back late last night. So yes, nothing to really report, unfortunately, beyond work. So I'm not going to talk about that. But how about you, Chell?
All right. Well, first, let's do a shout-out to the chat room. Ataro122 is here. Bill646, Captain and GM, Darth Brundlefly, Dekyon, and Dreadx are both here. Drunken Darkside Podcast is here. Followable August01, Farseer, Fiona is here. Gahana, Jagged Phil, Jelly Andy 1, Obi Quiet, Arjar75, Siskaika, Sortar Evan, Sukai Beru, Togakan 1, Trig PT, Vanwa Aran, Vasmi Gaming, I guess. Yeah. Wastegate and Zamzam are all here. Hello, everyone. All right. Mother's Day weekend, I was out of town, so those couple of days not available. But through the rest of the week, I did do the new chapter. I really thought it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed Galt actually more in this chapter than I did in the actual class story. So that's twice that's happened to me now because I felt the same about Eric Jorgen. I don't know. He felt like Galt had sort of loosened up a bit. In the class story, there's a lot of sort of kind of built-in tension between Galt and your character, and that seems to have loosened up in this chapter. So that was pretty nice. Vet was fun and excellent as usual. Of course, the great voicing and everything. And her reintroduction was especially a lot of fun. So no spoilers, of course, but watch for that. And I had a lot of fun playing with both of those characters. That was really cool. I also did Eternal Championship. I think I got to round 7. It was. I can't remember. At that point, I was using a character who was jumping and my companion kept being out of range of heals, and maybe it was a heal bug or maybe it was just the range thing, I don't know, but I could not advance past it and it got really aggravating, so I stopped.
Which round was that, Chill?
Who was it? It's the one where there's 2 that you have to interrupt because they shield them, and then there's some ads on the sides, and if they jump on you, you die.
Is that number 6?
It's either 6 or 7. I think it was round 7, but maybe it was 6.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I couldn't get past that. Maybe it would be easier on a ranged character who wouldn't be out of heal range as much. Also, my 208 gear is not the greatest on that character, so that could be an issue as well. I'm not running in full raid gear yet. except like until the healing like was no longer adequate, it was actually a lot of fun. I liked seeing the different mechanics and so on, and there's some fairly clever ones that you don't see a lot in the game, if at all, and or you see like only a variant of it, and this is like a new variant. So a lot of interesting stuff in there. And I do think it's going to do a good job of one of its main sort of behind-the-scenes reasons for being, which is to get people ready for operations and other sort of end-game content where you have to actually know how to interrupt and get out of the fire and kite and so on. Good stuff. All right, and then finally I did do my light roleplay Juggernaut, got her through Tatooine, and I'm really... I had kind of forgotten because I chose it. I needed a character, a class that would fit the story I had in mind, so it was going to be one of the two. And the one I chose actually turns out to be really interesting for this character. Which the idea is the backstory of the character would be that she's actually like a war orphan who's raised by the Jedi and then is being sent to the Sith. Sort of snuck in essentially to sort of insert herself into their society so that she can, act as a mole essentially. So, and it turns out that this is a really interesting story to do that with. For example, you have this whole Jedi Master and Padawan story that's coming up. I'm sure a lot of people know exactly what I'm talking about, and a lot of light and dark side stuff. So. Yeah, it's very interesting to sort of see this character choosing, when to be light, when to be dark, and I'm really enjoying that. So that's a lot of fun. Got her, like I said, through Tatooine. Also, just enjoying Juggernaut in general. It's been a long time since I've done any Juggernaut, so I've forgotten a lot of the story, and I'm trying not to use. Well, I'm not using XP boosters or anything else, just so I can see as many stories as I can. So I'm actually doing a lot of the actual planet stories as well as the class story. So that was good. I'm really enjoying that. Obviously, Tatooine, that's not that far along, but almost, getting close to the end of Act 1, and looking forward to doing that some more. All right, that'll bring us to the tip of the week, and we've got 4 tips this week. And do you want me to start off, Tio?
Hang on, just one sec. Yes. Yeah, go.
All right, I'll start us off. AJ, a.k.a. Yajard of Jedi Covenant, and recently of the Harbinger. My tip is more of a workaround of a current bug that multiple people are experiencing. When you redeem token gear on the fleet, you may have trouble extracting the armoring, mods, and enhancements. You won't see an error, but nothing happens. The workaround is to load into another location, a guild flagship for example, and then extract what you need from the token gear. I've been having this issue since the last update.
That's a bit unfortunate, but that's a good workaround as well. Hopefully they'll fix that. If you haven't /bugged it already, definitely please do so that the developers can be made aware of it. The fact that you just shift phases and it works means it's probably unintended that it works like that.
Yep.
Alright, our second tip is from Shiny. As the game has gotten overly easy for many of us, leveling new tunes has almost become boring combat-wise. There are ways to increase the difficulty by purposely nerfing yourself, however. Number 1, put your companion on passive or dismiss them, basically do it without a companion. Have your companion tank or DPS rather than heal you, which is certainly the mode that I typically use them in. Disable some of your companion's abilities in any spec. Undergear yourself by using, and so you can actually, on the companion action bar, you can click off certain abilities so that the companion never uses them, even when they're available. So that is a way to kind of nerf the companion without disabling them completely. Just give them some whatever abilities you feel is enough to make things challenging.
Right.
Number 4, undergear yourself by using gear 10 plus levels below your level. That'll do it. Don't equip earpieces, implants, or relics. So, sure. Though, given the outfit designer, you could certainly make yourself look like whatever way you wanted to look, and just leave off whatever pieces of gear you felt was appropriate. Only level with your class story so that you're a bit under-leveled. So with 6 times XP, when double XP is inactive, you are supposed to do the planetary arc as well as the class story on every planet, certainly from 1 to 50, and then in the actual expansion content. So if you just do this class story, you are going to eventually fall behind, though as a subscriber and in a guild, you get those built-in bonuses anyway, which still puts you ahead of the curve. And finally, don't pick an advanced class. And Shiny says, okay, I'm just getting cheeky now. Yeah, that would just be pushing it. People have definitely done that.
They have done
leveled
that.
all the way without ever picking an advanced class. And yeah, that does make it challenging because you miss out on all your advanced classes' specific abilities. You just got the basic stuff and the ones that you get anyway that are just common between the advanced classes.
Yep, and you don't get utility points or the boosts from the trees either.
So another variant on this is to have a second account that is preferred or even free to play, so you don't get the 25% to base XP on everything. Of course, everything's 25% more expensive and all the rest of it, but if you don't have that boost to your XP, that just does slow things down that much more. Yeah, anyway, Shiny goes on. Find any combination of the above suggestions to find that works for you. I like level sync in theory, but I wish there was a way to set the difficulty level of your playthrough where you could play on hard or easy, or even have a spectrum. Easy would be like it is now. Hard could nerf your stats by 5 levels below current content on the planet, kind of like a reverse booster or bolster. It would make it like if you were to do an orange or red quest in the past. So level sync does bring your level down to that of the planet, but it's like a couple of levels above the highest on the planet. So you still, if you're above level for the planet, you're still pretty much kicking ass, so to speak. But yeah, having a smarter level sync would be kind of cool. Yeah, great suggestions there if you want to make your gameplay that much more challenging, because at the moment it is something of a face roll. And some people like challenge. I know I do, because otherwise it just gets a little dull.
All right, third tip is from Lecto Sama of the Tao Covenant Guild on the Prophecy of the Five server. If you as a player are looking to join Pug operations, go ahead and download the 3 major voice over IP programs, Ventrilo, TeamSpeak, and Mumble. 1, it's polite and helpful to the raid, and 2, no one wants to wait for you to download one of these programs. Being on a dead server, hashtag POT5.
Prophecy of the 5.
Right. We've had a lot of issues with pugs lately. The biggest issue being that new players don't want to get into comms and won't tell the group that they don't know the fights. We don't mind teaching new players in my guild, but we appreciate the honesty and consideration. Unfortunately, we have to take what we can get on Prophecy of the 5. Moreover, it takes about 30 minutes to an hour to pug 1 or 2 players to fill out our normal group. So Bioware, if you're listening, we are waiting patiently for better than cross-server or server mergers.
Yeah, so just wait until New York Comic Con and we'll get those 2 announcements from Ben Irving and about the whole better than cross-server thing. Still waiting, and that is coming up, well, still a few months away. They've got time. They've got time. All right, our last tip is from Darkson of the guild Cosmic Republic on the Ebon Hawk server. This is the week to keep an eye on Galactic Conquest and the GTN. It's an unlimited crafting for Conquest points week, and it is a good time to sell those mats that you've been hoarding, in particular the ones that are used for the components that make war supplies. Actually, mats, components, and the war supplies themselves may all go for an inflated price this week. Look to see if there are 2 to 3 guilds at the top that are in a close fight. A few weeks ago, during another Craft to Win week, my guild and another had around a 24 to 22 million point slugfest that had me and others turning to the GTN to get that last war supply needed to squeak out one last invasion force just before the deadline. The artifice and synth weaving related stuff was the hottest of the commodities. Now, that's a great tip. Very time critical, so it only works in crafting week like this one, as far as Galactic Conquest goes, and you know you've got until Sunday for that. But yeah, great idea.
All right. By random allotment, the winner is Shiny. Congratulations, Shiny. You're the winner of an M83R or Tanfon pet code, courtesy of BioWare, and a new OotiniCast provided cartel market pack from the latest shipment. And if you'd like a chance to win the same, please send your tips to OotiniCast@gmail.com by next Tuesday. And that will bring us to the Holo feed. Tio?
Quite a few things to cover this week. Let's start with something that Suki just reminded us of. You actually have until May 30 to log in, if you haven't already, and most of you probably have at this point, to get your May the 4th droid, the M4I6 Zakulan Astromech droid mini-pet. So until the end of the month, just log in once on any character and you should get it on every character, is the way that typically works. So nice, if you haven't got that already. Now, speaking of May the 4th, as we know, they're doing all kinds of stuff this month. Firstly, let's start with a reminder that the double XP, double PvP Warzone Comms and Space PvP requisition, that ended. That was just from May the 3rd to May the 10th, so that's done. However, there is another week coming up, May 26th through May 30.
Right.
So you do have time to take advantage of that again, but at the moment, we're back to 6 times XP rather than 12 times XP. As far as that goes. And also, this Saturday, May the 14th, Eric Musco, Community Manager, will be doing his marathon story stream, where he plays through the entire Knights of the Fallen Empire story as far as it has gone so far, which is all the way up to Chapter 13. And that will start at 7 a.m. Pacific on Saturday morning, and will continue until he's done. And you may have a bad feeling about that particular podcast, that particular stream. I hear there are rumours that Chuck and Brian may drop in. Who knows what will happen?
Nice.
They did mention special guests. So a good time will no doubt be had, and poor Eric is going to be cray-cray by the end of it. No doubt. So, but yeah, that should be a lot of fun. And he's going to give away a lot of swag. Another reason to tune in for as long as you can. Now, the other stuff that's happening, the Eternal Championship speedrun, which Dred's already mentioned, and he did bring up the point that there's actually no way in-game, as it is now, to actually see how well you did in terms of time, which is a bit unfortunate, but obviously there are workarounds using external tools, which he described, and yeah, that's a great idea, actually. Of course, you have no way of telling how you're doing against anyone else.
Right.
So, geez, a leaderboard would have been great. So, you know, if you're even within, if you're like half an hour or whatever behind, or however long it takes, yeah, you may as well just...
Well, since there's a 15-minute... is it 15 minutes to finish the EC? Was that
Is
the
that how fast
achievement?
people are doing it?
Well, I thought that was their achievement.
Right.
So
Right,
if you're not hitting the achievement, you're definitely not in the running, because there are people who are
They've got the
getting
achievement, yes. Now, I did want to mention that Rachel has got the achievement. That's Zamzam, who you can find her blog at zamzamsays.com. Has got the achievement for having completed the Eternal Championship on all 8 classes. So, well done, Rachel. I know Dred's got 6 under his belt, so a couple more to go. But yeah, that's impressive work. Didn't take her long either. So, or you, Dred. So, nice work.
Thanks.
Now, regarding the speedrun, so they have warned us that if you use any cheats, and apparently there was one where you were able to use /stuck to subsequently avoid all conversations, which would obviously speed up the process. So /stuck will kill you if you're still in combat. However it worked, I don't know. But yeah, if you do that, you will be disqualified. Not just that character, completely from the contest. So, and you could be temporary banned or perma-banned because you are very much violating the terms of service. So don't cheat, is the, is the bottom line there. Just play fairly and you should be okay. And obviously, since they're aware of it, they can detect it in the logs. And yeah,
Right.
don't cheat. Now, you have until May 20th, by the way. So it's actually not that long. just a week to go. Remember, you do have to register before you start your runs, and after that, all you have to do is complete the Eternal Championship. And you will be your score, your time, will be silently entered somehow, because obviously they're tracking the metrics behind the scenes.
Right.
And you've got no other way of knowing that you're actually in the running. But make sure you enter on the swotor.com/May-the-4th site. And speaking of that, you'll also have to register for the Story So Far promotion. Now, this is the one where you just complete Chapter 13 on any character, and on May 10th, 15th, 20th, 25, and 30, they were going to give away a prize to... And it's still confusing. It may be 5 people each day, or it may just be one person over each day. But the May the 10th one is done. I haven't actually seen who won. So again, but each time you complete Chapter 13 on a character within the 5-day window between like the 10th and the 15th, you'll be in the running for the next drawing. You complete it on Chapter 13 on another character after the 15th, but before the 20th, you're in that drawing. So, but again, you do have to enter on the website for that. There's also the Show and Tell Your Saga. This one you don't have to actually enter on the website. All you have to do is post a screenshot or video of SWTOR gameplay, and they didn't seem to be anything specific that they're after, though probably Knights of the Fallen Empire stuff would make sense. But post it on Twitter or Facebook with the hashtag SWTOR Saga Giveaway. I believe there's also Instagram, and I scroll down very quickly, and YouTube, of course, for videos. Just use the hashtag SWTOR Saga Giveaway, and again, same deal with the giveaways. May 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So just post it, they'll pick winners. And each time to be in the running, just make sure you do it in those various 5-day windows. You can only win once, though. So just be aware of that as well.
Okay.
So it's still all happening in the month of May to celebrate May the 4th, Star Wars Day. Right, next up. There was a post on the official forums where someone was asking about server transfers, and the long and the short of it is the reason they want cheap transfers back, because as you know, they have gone up to 1,000 cartel coins from that very long period where they were discounted to 90 cartel coins. So server transfers, and remember you can now transfer between EU and US for 1,500, but just in-region server transfers, 1,000 cartel coins. They're basically saying they want them reduced again, at least even for a short period, so that they can get the hell out of the server that they're trapped on. So the obvious question is, well, it was 90 cartel coins for all this time. Why didn't they move then? And blah blah, it came up too quickly and they sort of missed out. Is sort of the gist of it. Or they were hoping and praying for server mergers eventually, and now they've just given up hope. So yeah, remember, they did actually remove the discount and put it back to 1,000 cartel coins with almost no notice. It was literally days, and it was after the cartel grant, so cartel coin grant for many people, and so they just missed out on having the cartel coins if they weren't willing to spend the money to actually buy any to take advantage of the discount before it disappeared. And so anyway, Ben Irving, producer who appears on the live streams, did say, to be honest, I haven't read all 34 pages of this thread. A lot of people are interested in this. But if we reduce transfer prices for a week, would that allow you all enough time to organise your guilds to transfer to the place that makes the most sense for your guild? And so it was all about guilds and people wanting to stay together and moving off their dead server onto somewhere else. So there's been no follow-up since then. So basically, you could take this as advice that in the near-ish future, there may be another temporary discount of server transfers, maybe even free, but I doubt it. So if you were thinking of moving, I'd kind of hold off for maybe a few weeks. In fact, I'd probably wait until the next producer live stream, in fact, because that's the kind of place they probably announce this kind of thing. But yeah, just hold off for a little bit rather than spending the 1,000, and maybe you may get that discount, because it sounds like they're definitely thinking about it. Alright, next. There is a new adaptive gear vendor that they sort of snuck in without putting it in the patch notes. And there was a thread about it on Reddit, and there was a post on the official forums. Ben Irving again, producer, commenting, glad to hear all of you like the addition, and he mentioned AZ Kept seeing players request this and had been pestering us for a while to find some time to get it done. In the end, he just stayed extra late to make it happen, so you should direct your thanks his way. Now, AZ, or AZ if you're American, is Ahmad Zabara. Now, this guy, he started as a custom support guy for Dark Age of Camelot back in the day. He worked there for a couple of years. He was then lead game designer and assistant development manager on Warhammer with Mythic. Now, as you probably know, Mythic got bought by EA and combined with BioWare. And then he joined SWTOR in January 2010, which was basically a year before launch, and has been on the game ever since. He started as a senior world designer and is currently a senior designer, and he's leading the itemization and marketing MTX.
I'm not sure what that stands for.
And the MTX team, whatever that is. You gonna look it up, Jill?
I'm looking it up.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's internal.
Yeah.
It's alright. We'll get back to it in a
Must be
sec.
an internal one. Yeah, that doesn't seem to be a popular one that shows up for business or anything like that.
Oh, thank you.
Microtransactions? Okay,
yes.
that would make sense.
And in the chat, Beware2 has confirmed MTX is microtransaction team. So excellent.
Very nice.
Probably making a lot of money for SWTOR. Anyway, this vendor, we should actually mention, is located. There is one on the fleet and also one on the faction Capital Worlds. Now, Dredd, you've had a look at the vendor, and apparently the vendors sell the same stuff in both places, and it's adaptive gear from Flashpoints and Operations.
Yeah, it's the old Flashpoint gear that you used to get when, in vanilla SWTOR. They removed it because of they upgraded the Flashpoints to 65.
Right.
So they removed all that, and you get the I don't know what gear you get now, but it's pretty much
apparently
blue
it's
gear,
blues,
it's blue gear,
which aren't moddable. So it's the adaptive
right.
gear, yeah.
That
All the adaptive gear that used to drop, you can now get this from this vendor. What were the prices like, Dredd?
the common data crystals is like between 10 and 30, I think. Yeah,
Okay.
really cheap. Yeah,
Cheap as
In other
chips.
words, free.
yeah.
As far as that
But
goes.
some really good looks if you were into it at that time, you know, vanilla SWTOR. If you were into those looks, it's a nice harken back to that era of SWTOR. I would
Yeah.
like to see them bring back the Kunlun gear and that gear. And I did hear that there was some talk of that going around, that they were going to bring back that old raiding gear look. So we'll see.
Okay. Brabro Nelly mentions there's also some world drops. Rachel confirms that. Trick PT says some of the gear is old level 20 and level 40 PvP gear, which used to be sold. Gahana reckons the Empire side ones are better. And the most expensive pieces from Rachel, as Dredd said, about 30 common data crystals. So yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
So thank you, AZ Ahmed Zabara. All right, next there is a press release last couple of days from EA and BioWare announcing Chapter 14. And I guess, yeah, let's hold off on mentioning the title. Should we? Or is it a bit late? It's been a week or so. What do you reckon?
Well, they've also, I mean, they gave us the chapter names a while ago, too. So.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Chapter 14 has been announced as coming on the 3rd of June. Its title is Mandalore's Revenge. And the subscriber award for that is the Eternal Empire Patroller vehicle, which had been announced a bit previously. They talked about this in the live stream, of course, and also played the trailer, which is now on YouTube. They do give a summary. The newest chapter in the Knights of the Fallen Empire expansion gives the Outlander an opportunity to confront Emperor Arkan with an army of ruthless Mandalorian warriors. With the help of the infamous bounty hunter Shay Vizsla, she's back, as you and your alliance move to seize control of the most powerful armada in the galaxy, the Eternal Fleet. Prepare to brave the harsh desert world of the Vanis, which was the site of scum and villainy. And that's pretty much the only time we've been to Darvanis that I recall.
Right. Yeah.
And survive its brutal enemy forces in a desperate attempt to save the galaxy from the Eternal Empire forever, and earn the loyalties of Shay Vizsla and unyielding Mandalorian warriors. I wonder if that means she becomes a companion. Well, we'll see. Now, seize control of the most powerful armada in the galaxy, the Eternal Fleet. Now, as we know from playing through the story, without getting too spoilery, this kind of stuff is kind of obvious. The whole reason the Eternal Empire is kind of nasty is because of the Eternal Fleet. And the Eternal Fleet is rather peculiar in its nature. And as part of that, apparently, its loyalty can be switched, or shall we say, can be controlled. So if you take that away from Arkin, what's left?
That's right.
A bunch of bloody cool knights is what's left. And because I believe the Sky Troopers come with the Eternal Fleet.
Could be. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think those are separate because the fleet is supposedly ancient, and we've seen Sky Troopers being built brand new. So
True. All right.
there's a difference
point.
there.
Yep.
But
yep.
whether they're controlled somehow the same way, I guess that could be possible.
They do rely on droids a lot, do the cool ones.
They do.
Now, something else they mentioned was, well, firstly, you get early access on June. If you subscribe by June 1st, you will get early access on June the 1st. So, anyway, so if you... Well, that's kind of weird, isn't it? How can you call it early access? Anyway, if you're subscribed by June the 1st, you will get access on June the 1st. But if you're not, you just have to wait. You subscribe on June the 2nd, you'll get access on June the 3rd. Or whatever. However that works. Anyway.
Okay. I guess it makes sense.
And the other interesting point is that they mention that the next chapter will be later that month, which basically means they're going to do it 4 weeks after, which would be more or less releasing it on 30 June, Thursday 30 June, and probably early access on the 28th of June.
Right.
So, and speaking of that, there may actually be a Galactic Gamers Coalition, assuming you can get the crew together. We're going to do it a bit earlier, but I'm thinking we'll wait until the Saturday, the Saturday, 4th of June. So after the chapter is out. Actually, Tuesday is... Now, just looking at the calendar, it looks like the 3rd is a Friday, so they're actually going to be releasing... Early release would be on the 1st of June, which is a Wednesday. That's not making a lot of sense, but I'm sure it'll all make sense later. Anyway. I could probably cut that down a bit, but yeah, that's a little confusing. Right, anything else to say about that? Anyway, chapter 14 coming soon. Remember, the final chapter is chapter 16, which will conclude the saga, which at this rate is going to be sometime in late July. And that'll be that for Season 1, and we already know they're planning Season 2. Will that be part of another X-Pack? Who knows? Who knows?
We'll see, yeah.
Yeah. My speculation is it is, but I'm not sure anymore. Alright, now, yesterday morning, my time, they had the Electronic Arts Q4 financial year 2016, so last quarter and full year, basically, for the financial year 2016 earnings call. So I did listen to that. It was it was an hour, which is what they usually do. So I didn't analyze the numbers, and I'm not an economist or anything like that, or an investor, but it seemed they did pretty well. Yeah, so of course they always say nice things about themselves, but revenue was certainly up, and it sounded like profit was up, if I'm interpreting the financial talk appropriately. But anyway, they appear to have had a ripper of a year. They were certainly way above what they had projected, and that's always a win for a company.
Nice.
So, yes. Now, I was obviously listening for mention of SWTOR in the whole thing. In the prepared remarks, in the slides, everything else, the only appearance of SWTOR was in the slide where they have select live services and mobile, and they've got a whole ton of stuff, but SWTOR is in there. In the actual discussion, they did mention all kinds of things, such as EA Sports console titles. This is in the press release, sorry. In the press release, they did mention EA Sports console titles, Battlefield titles, Star Wars Battlefront, The Sims free-to-play mobile, but nothing about Star Wars The Old Republic. Now, in the last earnings call, the one that was Q3, so 3 months ago basically, which was certainly at a bit of a peak for SWTOR after the release of The Force Awakens, etc., they said, in Q3, Star Wars The Old Republic grew to its highest subscriber level in nearly 3 years. So, no statements about that at all. And so anyway, I listened through the whole prepared remarks, where the CEO and CFO bang on about all kinds of stuff. They did mention Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes on mobile. That mobile game is doing amazingly well. There are a lot of players spending on average 2 hours a day in the game. Maybe it is something I should look at. They talked about their Battlefield 1 announcement that had happened a few days before. Their trailer apparently got 21 million views in the first 4 days. Bit of a record for them, apparently. Now, if you're curious about what Battlefield 1 is, aren't there already Battlefield games? It's referring to World War 1. And that will be the milieu for that Battlefield, which they've never done before. So, cool. From everything they're saying, they're pretty excited about that one. Of course, they're always excited, very excited. But that one, you could actually sense some real genuine enthusiasm about what they're creating there. We got Titanfall 2 coming in October, and Mass Effect Andromeda towards the end of the year, created by BioWare, of course. And they didn't say much else about that. However, we did get, during the Q&A, and this was the only mention of SWTOR in the entire hour of talkings, this is when investors can actually ask questions of them. And what he said was, this is this is Blake Jorgensen, who's their CFO, Chief Financial Officer. Extra content obviously was dominated by Ultimate Team, but also FIFA Online 3 in Asia continues to grow, which falls in that. We saw continued growth of our original Star Wars product, Star Wars The Old Republic, as well as extra content associated with The Sims, with Battlefield, Battlefield 4, blah, blah, blah. So that's it. That's it. We saw continued growth. Now, when he's talking about growth, I think he's talking about money. Whether he's talking about anything else, no. No, I don't think so. Not in that context. So, yeah. I don't know how to read that. Alright, so I'm wondering if I should mention... No, probably not. No, let's move on from that. Anyway, that was the quarterly earnings. Pretty much tells us nothing beyond the fact that they're still making money. Maybe. You could imply that. Now, their 20K, I believe it is. Is that their annual report? Chill, the detailed one?
Oh, gosh, what's it called? Yeah, it has a K in it. Damn it. Why can't I remember that?
Of course, I've got no idea because that's a Yank thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, in their actual real annual report, or their proper earnings report, that's where they actually have all the details that they didn't necessarily want to make a big deal of in their earnings call, but they have to disclose all of this because they're a publicly traded company. So that's where you actually find out what's really going on, and that hasn't come out yet. But it should be in the next 5 to 10 days, I believe. So
nice.
We will see. We will report back on that.
Yeah, and the annual one usually is quite a bit more in-depth than the quarterly ones. However, they can certainly hide certain things behind, various guises of, corporate secrecy and that sort of thing. They can come up with reasons not to disclose certain things, but we will definitely learn more than we will from any of these quarters or any of these talks.
Yeah, great. Now, on the future of the game, Sir Salisbury sent us a link to a Reddit thread where someone was asking, so how about some news about operations, new operation content? Obviously, we've been asking for that for a long time. And someone from the guild Zors, former guild Zors, who were one of the progression rating groups, one of the best, who have obviously now all moved on. And he said that Zors were told by BioWare back in the first quarter of 2015 that BioWare, will be shifting focus to story content for at least 2 years. And that became Knights of the Fallen Empire, which was released towards the end of 2015. 2 years. So that's 2 years from 4.0. They basically gave the guild nice shiny, meant for the ops speedrun contest plaques for the world first clear, and told them, well, that there wouldn't be anything for them. He went on to, this is the Zors guy, so take all this with how many pinches of salt you want, but I have heard that statement before from multiple sources, and as far as I know, it's true. This is what Zors were told, the players in Zors. Now, the Zors guy went on, sorry, chill.
And, yeah, at least 2 years means it could be any amount of time, so...
Yeah. They had to try it, and so far, at least, certainly done well.
Right.
Again, there is a conflating factor here. There was a big bump that was mentioned in that last earnings call where they had the most number of subscribers for a long time, which coincided with the release of The Force Awakens, where there was a whole lot of interest in Star Wars.
Right.
Not necessarily due to the story content and the story focus of the game. Correlation is not causation.
True. And the other factor being that to see the content, you now have to be a subscriber. So, you know, the focus went from being from the free-to-play model to back to subscriber model. So,
yes.
I mean, if that didn't get the subscriber numbers up, you know, what is. So it doesn't really tell us a whole heck of a lot.
No, it doesn't.
But they did, I mean, they did indicate that the revenue is up, though, so that's good.
Yes. And that's obviously their effective use of the cuddle market, etc., as well as people staying subscribed, which is obviously a good thing. People are sticking around for the story to get the HK55 chapter, which should be turning up in a couple of months. Yeah, which is good. Now, the Zors guy did comment on the experiment with hardmare, that is really tuned up hardmare operations without nightmare versions. He calls it a failure because it made the content too hard for your average operation player. So the average operation players could get through the story mode easily enough, but then when they hit and we did experience this ourselves, the new hard modes where the hardmare content was, challenging, which is great, but it was a little too challenging. They made them harder than they probably should have, and so you're basically putting up a wall for most of your operation players, and the actual really good ones who wanted nightmare mode, they wanted even harder. They more or less moved on. Now, he also mentioned that they fired or let go or they moved on all the operation staff, including the leader, but again, we don't know. We don't know what's happening there. We've talked about that before. Yeah, so anyway, and then he does mention, of course, that the last operation added to the game was in December 2014, which is getting on to, 1.5 years ago at this point.
Right.
So, yeah, and Kotfi, Knights of the Fallen Empire, will take us through to October 2016. We know they're working on Season 2. They have talked about more PvE content, but they were very careful not to give us any specifics. So for all we know, it's going to be things along the lines of the Eternal Championship rather than operations. So, but that doesn't mean anything. That they could still do new operation content. So yeah, they're putting their money where they know they can get return on their investment, and it turns out most people like the story content, apparently. And the subscriber numbers must presumably be high enough that they're able to continue with that. So, I guess that's it. Why would they make more operations? There's really no point. But maybe they will anyway. Any thoughts on that?
There's a lot of chatter in the chat room about folks who had groups very similar to ours, where they were used to doing hard mode content. They weren't doing Nightmare previously, and then this last round of the when it became Hardmare, sort of without a whole lot of letting us know it was going to be like that, and ending up hitting a wall and kind of disbanding after a while. That's kind of what happened to us. Although I think in our case we were willing to still bang away at it until but then enough of our group decided that since there was no new operations coming, that they were just tired of banging against the wall at that point.
Yes. A bit sad, yeah. And just sick of the same old stuff. Lint777 says, you guys aren't getting any new ops for a long time. Time to realise that, I think. And I think he's right. I've been hoping that they will eventually announce something. James Olin certainly alluded to that in that tweet of his, but again, PvE content could be literally anything. And operations do take a certain amount of work to put together. Yeah.
I wonder what the true percentage of players are that want ops as opposed to want more PvE, if you looked at the entire community as a whole.
It's an interesting question. I don't know. And maybe operations are just, or even if you don't go for operations, new flashpoints, just things for people to do together. Because the story content, the story focus is very much single player. Yes. Basically, Knights of the Old Republic in an MMO. Which is fine, and a lot of us do like to play like that, and that's great. But an hour of new content every month? Yes, you can play through it on many characters. Yes, you can always level alts. But, again, new stuff is good, and stuff to do is good. And yes, there is plenty to do. But they're not really adding a lot of new stuff, is what it comes down to, and eventually you will get through it if you put enough time into it. We're rehashing a little bit, but until we hear something new, some really solid new announcement, and Ben Irving, in that letter of his a while ago, did allude to all kinds of new stuff coming later in the year that they can't talk about yet, but soon, TM. Yeah, we just got to hang in there. Hang in there.
Well, I think that BioWare has been very transparent about their actions. Right now, it's story. They haven't mentioned anything or made any different statements about that. They have made it clear that their direction currently is story, is single-player experience.
Yes. Silent Cat mentioned that removing some of those mechanics out of the story mode versions suck the fun out of story mode ops. So for guilds that can't handle hard mode, and as we've mentioned, their hardmare mode, for the most part, is incredibly boring. Yeah, like Karaga's Palace, just taking the puzzle boss out of it. I mean, that was all the boss is still there, but the puzzle mechanic was just gone.
Right.
It was kind of shocking. It's like, oh, God, really? It wasn't that hard. But yeah. Alright, let's talk about something outside of Star Wars The Old Republic. The new Star Wars game that was just announced on May the 4th by EA. And we talked about it last week briefly, though we did kind of obscure it the way we were talking about it. But anyway, the company is Respawn Entertainment, and they are developing an all-new third-person action-adventure game set in the Star Wars universe. So, third-person action-adventure. Now, my mind went to Diablo style. So imagine a Star Wars Diablo style game. Now, I guess I'm a little bit horrified, but I'm sure they can make it work. Yeah, and that's pretty much all we know at this point. And I got the impression the time frame was like a couple of years out. So 2017, 2018 for that. Though they did also mention during the earnings call that now that The Force Awakens and the new movies is out, they are able to utilize those settings for the new upcoming games. So expect plenty of new content in The Force Awakens timeframe, which is fantastic. So anyway, more Star Wars games coming. Of course, there is that other game that's being developed by Visceral and Motive together. And obviously, and Battlefront, apparently there's a big new update coming. The last update was apparently very well received. So Star Wars Battlefront is still out there. I never did get into it myself. just not my thing. But yeah. So anyway, Star Wars games are coming. And there's always Galaxy of Heroes on mobile in the meantime, which I haven't got into either. Don't play mobile games. Chill, did you ever try Galaxy of Heroes?
Yes, I've tried Galaxy of Heroes, and I've also tried several of the mobile ones. What's the other one? Uprising is pretty fun too. Yeah, in fact, I think I like Uprising more than the Heroes one, but I kind of got away from them the last couple months, but I definitely progressed pretty far in both of those, and they're both really well-made games, so I can totally see why they'd be popular. So,
yeah, maybe I should.
Yeah, I think they've also talked about Battlefront 2. It's coming soon as well. I did see that on GameSpot, and that's going to be set in the Force Awakens moving forward era. So.
Oh wow! Oh, that's fantastic.
I did see that on GameSpot this morning.
All right, I'll follow up on that next week. Thank you, Dredd.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. All right, that's news. I'm going to move through. Let's just quickly cover community. Already talked about that. Just a reminder of our Share the Rage competition, which I don't believe I actually named previously, but this is what Chill brought up. He did mention it. I announced it weeks ago, but we never really followed up. Got some entries from our good friend Blacklock, but no others. All you have to do is send us a voice clip with your own rendition of Utini Rage that we do every week. We've got those great ones from Darren DePaul, the actor who does the Emperor Valkorion. But, yeah. And we do have another entry from Positivo of our own Utini Knights. And
Nice.
that is what I will use in this week's show. But yes, all you have to do, send us a voice clip as an MP3 or a WAV file, whatever. Send it to OotiniCast@gmail.com. And you are in the running for a ton of cartel coins. So I've got some codes to give away, which I will do so. Now, something else that Blacklock, speaking of which, mentioned, he tweeted out that he has this little spreadsheet, his companion chapter, which he's updated as of chapter 14, Mandalore. Mandalore's Revenge, or whatever it was. And what he has done is for every one of the classes on both factions, he has listed which of their companions have actually returned in Knights of the Fallen Empire as part of the story.
nice.
And it gives a kind of indication that for whatever reason, the Imperial companions are far, far more popular. So, let's see. The Sith Warrior, Bounty Hunter, Imperial Agent, 3 each of their companions have returned. 2 of the Sith Inquisitors, so that's on the Empire side. On the Republic side, only the Trooper has had 3 of their companions return. The Consular, Jedi Knight, and Smuggler have only had 1 companion each. So, yeah, the Republic is being screwed in that regard. Now, of course, they have said that they're going to bring the companions back where they fit into the story, and I guess it's just meant that the characters on the Empire side are just more interesting or appropriate for the story, shall we say, as it has gone so far. But yeah, a bit disappointing.
Maybe it's because there's a bigger population of players on the imp side.
I don't think that's true. I've never actually seen any numbers that really break it down. We know in PvP the imp side is more popular, but I have my own theories on why that's the case. Yeah, but maybe. I doubt it, though. Alright, anything else to say on that? I'm just going to quickly write a quick summary for this week. Swotor Issa will tell us about reputations.
Okay.
What they are and how to get them and why. I assume that's what she's talking about because I haven't literally listened to the clip yet. Alright, Chill, and that's the news.
All right, that'll bring us to the Academy, and this week, Swotorista will tell us about reputations, what they are, how to get them, and why.
Insert clip of some length, which I also haven't checked.
Thank you, Swotorista. That will bring us to the Force Feedback, where we read out your tweets and emails. And we're going to start with Joshua saying, yes, the return of Darth Chill. The beard may be gone, but the dark side remains. Yes, I have shaved since then, but actually for the RP show, I had grown out a little bit of hair for for that particular, just specifically for the show itself. Yes, yes, and then I had like 5 minutes to do the whole eye thing. So if it looks a little messy and a little silly, there's definitely reasons for that. Plus, I'm not even sure if I had a lot of time, how good I could have actually made it. All right, Billy wrote, told Dredd last night he should make a guild RP event next so that you can get more practice. Good show.
Yeah, sure.
We could do something like that, I guess, although
Yeah.
I guess you'd have to get everyone on voice at least. I guess it'd be a voice RP sort of thing. So, yeah, that would work. West Rider wrote, great show last night. Wasn't able to be there for the live show, but watched it later on YouTube. Chill, you were great. Sorry I missed the live show. It would have been a real hoot. So
yes.
a lot of people enjoying it, apparently. I mean, it was just a lark, but we had fun doing it. Miguel also wrote in, the last podcast in character was great. Congrats. AJ wrote, I surprised you all managed to cover the news in character very well. I would recommend it being a yearly special for May the 4th.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yes, it was not easy.
Yeah, about once a year sounds about right.
Let's talk about that, sure.
It's surprisingly difficult to actually do everything in character like that. It was very. Maybe if we did it more, it would get easier, but it was definitely a strain. Andrew of Swotor Economics wrote, I thought it was a fun change of pace. Davo had a feeling a lot like mine. It was so horrible, it was glorious. Ended up really enjoying how goofy it was. Well done. I can totally understand where he's coming from. Overbite wrote, I think it was fun, but would benefit from more production. The news should be read as news and have bumpers and so on. You could try a scripted section between your characters. Try listening to Priority 1 Pod for a good example.
Yeah, no, we never want to go there, because that sounds like way, way, way too much work and just not our style. Anyway, we'll probably stick to the current format.
Right. Although, fair point that we had low production values. Michael Butler wrote, loved it. Thank you, Michael. Quercus, I unexpectedly enjoyed it. That's funny. Farseer, who is in the chat tonight, wrote, the show was a real hoot, chaotic, but loads of fun to watch. Descartes wrote, that was cheesy and hilarious. Full-time format switch? Yeah, right.
No.
I noticed a real struggle to phrase the game-related news. Good effort, and it worked as a change of pace.
Thank you.
And then, Tio, you have a poll out.
Yes, a few days ago I put up a poll where I asked in episode 259, we did the entire show in character. Should we ever do that again? Now, I was perhaps seeking some validation from the community that no, for the love of God, no. But, unfortunately, the results are in, and we had 99 votes. 47% said yes.
Wow.
Oh, God. 25% said maybe, but very rarely. These are the options I created. 9%.
Fair enough.
9% said only if it's scripted, as in like a radio drama that we kind of script out and then just play the parts, kind of like they do for the actual in-game cinematics. And 19% said no, never again. So we can't say a overwhelming majority want us to do it again or don't want us to do it again. So maybe every year, maybe we'll do something a little more formal next time. If we do it again on May the 4th next year.
Right. And Michael
anyway.
K's reply was, yes, if only to hear Tio's discomfort.
What discomfort?
Yeah. Right.
Anyway.
Yes. Let's see. So yeah, so a lot of people had stuff to say about, so that's always fun. Kodo wrote in, this is now on a new subject. I am back playing again. Who knows for how long this time. I currently have a Bounty Hunter and Jedi Knight at 65 doing the Alliance missions, or trying to at least. My question is, are the weekly heroics doable with just a companion? What would you say?
Yeah, easily. Very, very easily. Yes.
Yeah. They even nerfed the McKeb ones, did they not? Because those
They're
were like the
shorter.
only ones that were that's the only
Yeah.
ones that were semi-hard, and they sort of nerfed or changed those at least.
No, they're pretty much all doable at this point.
Okay. Kodo continues, I had a lot of trouble on my bounty hunter doing the Star Fortress mission. Yeah, when I got to the big robot guy that kept spawning Sky Troopers. Yeah. That one that gets to be a lot of damage. Sometimes I've used Heroic Moment and stuff to get through that one.
I think a really good tip on that one is to make sure you kill the main robot guy, because once you kill him, all the Sky Troopers explode.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Although when you have a chance to like blow a bunch of them up, it's like not a bad idea to get the ads down a little bit.
You've got to keep the ads under control, otherwise they will overwhelm you eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kodo says, I think that mission's meant for 2 people with companions. Either that or my bounty hunter just isn't geared well enough, and I may need to build up more affection as well. Any tips? And of course, we've given him some tips. But yeah, I'd say also, of course, gear and affection is going to make it that much easier anyway.
Yeah. But you can definitely do it by yourself. It just requires probably a rank at least 20 companion, I think is what I did it on. This is all on heroic, of course. And yeah, reasonable gear. My guy really wasn't that well geared at all. So it can be done. I would just persevere.
Right. Because I often go off and play other games, I often get booted when it comes to guild cleanup time. That makes it hard to teacup and do stuff. I don't know what that means. Though admittedly not many people on when I am playing anyway, therefore my questions. Yeah, looking forward to the next in-character podcast.
Yeah,
So we
Kodo's an
mentioned it.
Aussie, so he's in my time zone. And yes, our evening play is early morning in the US. So,
Yeah.
Could that be an autocorrect for team up?
Yes, that could be.
Let's
Yeah,
just
could
leave it
be.
as it is. Let's call it an Australianism.
All right. Bamal Suj wrote, first, a link to a SWTOR-based webcomic whose most recent episode will appeal to you guys, I think.
This is
Actually-
Imperial Entanglements.
Okay. Very nice. I will be checking that out for sure. I actually like this reward better than some of the ones they actually have done. And let's see. What's this referring to? HK55 inspired underwear. Impress your friends, confuse your enemies, and seduce your companions. That's awesome. That's funny.
Yeah.
And secondly, I'm not sure if you want to share this. There are many other places that people can share their in-game wardrobes, and perhaps OotiniCast isn't a good place for it, but given Chill's affinity for dressing up Toons as DC comic characters, well, they're not all DC comics. She-Hulk is Marvel. And you seem close to my age, I thought you might get a kick out of this. And yeah, a nice little dance and a whole bunch of costumes going on.
He-Man. Yeah, I think he's come pretty close. You must remember He-Man, Chill. You're about my age.
Yeah, I missed him by a couple years, but yeah, I certainly know what he looks like. Yeah, he's got the cross thing on the chest going. Yep.
Yeah, very cool,
And
mate.
his
Very
companion
cool.
is, I believe, a She-Ra thing. I assume. Very nice.
Nice work.
It looks like he's done sort of similar themed things for his other companions. Very nice. I definitely don't know them well enough to do that.
Me either.
Yeah. I'm really happy with Evil He-Man's look, as well as Pierce / Duncan / Man-at-Arms, and Jaisa Evelyn. Oh, okay, so it's actually Evelyn, not She-Ra. I'm good with Vet's look as Tila and Quinn's look as Trapjaw, but Kaleo / Skeletor needs some work. Nice.
Yes.
Really
But
working
a
on it.
nice attempt. I'll include the images in the show notes, of course.
Yeah.
Masters of the Universe. Thank you,
Very
Fee.
good. All right, so it looks like no Starlight Digest this week to you?
What we're going to do is... how would we summarize this? Dread and Dek are going to tell us about some hard-to-get achievements or unknown achievements.
Okay,
So-
let me go ahead and intro that. And that will bring us to the Sarlacc Digest, where we go over the issues for 1,000 years, or until we run out of time. And our guests today are going to talk about some hard-to-get achievements.
Okay. So I wanted to talk about just legacy achievements in general and some of the harder to find and hidden achievements that we can get in the game. Some of the ones that come to my mind are getting the hat drop on Oricon from the Harbinger. It's super rare. It takes a few hours to get. But it's one of those things you don't really know about until you get it. I know that our guild on Sunday afternoons have been running a couple-hour blocks of just trying to find things, just getting different sorts of achievements, like killing 100 Jawas with your party Jawa out will give you an achievement.
Right.
Some of the other lesser-known achievements, and you can find these when you open your Legacy window and go down to the Legacy section, you can get achievements for having currency. For hitting the 10 million mark, you'll get a wealthy title.
Okay.
You can get achievements for having different sets of vehicles. Now, some of those vehicles do drop in operations, some of them drop in flashpoints. Some of them, one specifically, drops on Zerka, on CZ-198. And that one is also extremely rare. And then, of course, you have the weapons. A lot of these do come with 20 cartel coins, and some of them come with just a nice title. And I think Dredd has been running achievements like crazy for at least as long as I've known him. I think he's probably got more achievements than anyone I know.
Yeah. Yeah, there are some really good ones out there. My favorite achievement that I've picked up was the meat bag title. It's you have to defeat hard mode Foundry and hard mode False Emperor 25 times each.
Nice.
And you
Wow.
get an achievement for that, and you get the meat bag title, which I think is pretty rare out there in the community, because I'm not gonna lie, every time I'm on fleets, people whisper me all the time about how do you get that meat bag title. So that's one that I really enjoyed doing. There is one achievement that I don't have no idea. I've looked all over for it. It's a hidden trick achievement for 50 points. There was talk about it being a bug, but if you look under it, there's 50 points missing off of trick. So if anybody knows, please let us know what those 50 points are.
Wow.
I've been looking for it.
Yeah, we should ask Bioware maybe and just find out whether it is a bug or if there is some
Yeah.
achievement.
Yeah, there was some talk about it on Reddit, but no conclusive evidence on it.
Okay.
One that I did want to talk about was the Kill It With Fire achievement. It was killing 100 Makrin with fire on Macab. It's been bugged since. I don't think it ever worked in Hut Cartel. They randomly fixed it weirdly enough within the last month or two.
Oh.
And so yeah, I finally achieved it today after 3 years of wanting to get it. So that pretty much rounds off my planetary achievements.
Oh,
Wow.
congratulations. Nice
Yeah.
That
work.
is a lot.
Thanks.
Nice work.
Are they adding new planetary achievements for like Zakul and
No.
Odessen? Yeah.
The
Didn't
last
think
one
so.
they have was Yavin, and
Yeah.
that one is. There are hidden achievements there, but they're spoilery, so I won't talk about them.
Okay.
But there is one that which is the Ancient Threat. It's a hidden boss on Yavin,
Yeah.
and it's.
Is that the one
I
where
can
you need to
say-
find the ghosts?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I can
That's
say
cool.
from experience, it is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Wow.
So, and I've not done it. I've not achieved it yet. So it is a really, really hard boss.
It is extreme.
Right.
We wiped several times trying.
Yeah.
And what group size is it for?
It's for a raid, isn't it?
Yeah, we took along 30 people and we got one-shotted.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Ah.
We lasted
30
less than 10
people.
seconds.
But I've seen videos of 12 people doing it, so it's achievable. It's just there are a lot of mechanics going on in there. and
Right.
We just need to deal with it. Yeah.
A good
So,
challenge.
yeah,
Nice.
There's also one more achievement that I really, really want, and if 50 people could help me out, I'm trying to get my 50 people in my stronghold achievements.
Oh.
So, so if anybody wants to hit me up for an invite, please let me know.
We need another parade of strongholds. Does it have to be 50 people at the same time, or just
Yeah,
at all?
50 people, which is weird because you could only invite your raid in, which is 24.
Yeah.
So I guess you'll have to have 2 raids going, or just
Or
open it
more,
up on
yeah.
fleets. Yeah. So
That's
it is a weird achievement to achieve, but
Okay.
probably doable.
Do you get a title or anything, like host or something like that?
Yeah, I think there is a title to it as well. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
And then I guess one that probably is impossible for us is the Conquer Planets achievement, which we don't have. We don't have, we don't have any of those. So this is the next call out to the guild to let's try and get at least one planet one day.
Yeah. We'll have to look at the schedule of the upcoming ones and just see if there's one that can be done.
So yeah, and that's it.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, and sadly with 4.0 coming out, a lot of achievements kind of disappeared or became unavailable. For instance, doing Eternity Vault in Nightmare mode. They did remove that, and if you didn't get it before coffee dropped, then it just sits in an unfinished section of your operations called Legacy.
Right.
Yeah, we made sure we got that before, but yep, gone forever now. All right, anything else, or shall we call it good? Are we still here?
Yes, that's good.
I think we're good.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, then, that's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Utini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Harbinger server, or in our Guild on the Empire side, do a /C join Utini to join the Utini channel. Then let us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to OotiniCast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @OotiniCast. You can find contact details for all of us on our website, OotiniCast.com, which includes how to subscribe to us using iTunes, Stitcher, and the rest. We record the show live every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific. Go to OotiniCast.com/live to find out how to join in. Our theme song is Doomsday by Jean-Paul Zogby. And thank you to the chat room, and thank you to Dread and Dekyon.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, guys.
And we'll see you next week.
All right, keep recording, guys. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Next week, our guest will be Swerterista, and we're going to talk about a controversial subject, maybe. Drama. Well, probably not. But anyway, so that should be interesting.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, should be a good discussion. Anyway, thank you very much, and we will be back next week. May the force be with you.